Again, another story here that so many of you have sent in to me. And fascinates me because the studies come out and the information is applicable to people who have no interest in numbers, no interest in logic, no interest in statistics, no interest in the news, no interest in any kind of current events whatsoever, no interest in the social implications of anything. You're interested only in themselves. It's all about them. They can have it all. That's the deal. And in this case, of course, we are talking about single mothers. That's right. More statistics for you and your bastard children, ladies. Here it is. Women who have children out of wedlock are about 30% less likely. Are you hearing this, girls? Get your latest F-buddy to explain to you some of these numbers if you don't understand them. Whoever you're laying down with tonight, just tell about this story, see if he can explain it to you. Women who have children out of wedlock are about 30% less likely to get married than childless single women, according to a new study. If I have something to say about it, it'd be more like 80 or 90% less likely. 100% is too much to hope for. Would love to see it. Single mothers, 30% less likely to marry than women without children. And the reason for that? Well, we don't need a study to tell us. Because no man wants to clean up another man's garbage. No man wants to carry another man's baggage. No man wants to pay for any other man's mistakes. And that's why women who have children out of wedlock are 30% less likely to get married than women without children. Think about that, girls. Yes, you're going to do it all by yourself because you don't need a man. Then later on, when you figure out you need a man, you can't get one. Because there's guys like me around telling the other guys, why do you want to be with somebody like that? The story continues. It says, when unwed mothers do marry, again, girls, listen carefully, and find a man somewhere in your zip code who could sit down and explain it to you if it's too complicated. I know you girls are frequently on your back just putting out and forgetting to use diaphragms or pills or anything like that, so you probably don't have time to catch up on these stats or improve your reading comprehension for that matter. It says here, when unwed mothers do marry, they are more likely to land husbands who are, get this, significantly older and less educated than those of women who don't have children. So essentially, you're getting more desperate men and men who are stupid enough to say, you know what, I'm lucky to get anything I can get. I'll even take another guy's crumbs. I'll take that. Dr. Zhen Chao Quan, associate professor of sociology at Ohio State University, said it's more difficult for unwed mothers to get married. And if they do, they tend to not marry well. Don't blame me, girls. Blame Ohio State University. They did the study. You always ask me where I get my numbers from. That's where. More numbers from Mr. Kwan. More than a third of the female-headed families with children live in poverty, compared to only 6% of married couples with children. Are you hearing this? Let me repeat, all you girls who think they can have it all. More than a third of female-headed families with children live in poverty. More than a third. Only 6% of married couples with children live in poverty, according to Kwan. That means, get this, if you are married with children, you're only 1/5 as likely to live in poverty as if you are a single mother. Let's put it the other way. If you're a single mother, you are 5 times more likely to live in poverty than if you are married. Of course, girls, when you are done smoking your Marlboros and getting your tattoos and getting drunk and then laying down and spreading your legs, you probably don't have a lot of time to think about numbers like these. But remember, later on, when you think you're going to drag some guy into living up to his quote-unquote responsibilities, you're 5 times more likely to end up in poverty than a woman who gets married first and then has children. I'm sure it will not change your mind in any way. And I'm sure you're going to say, well, I'm not like that. Maybe everybody else is like that, but I'm not like... Please. You just significantly ruined your odds for having a happy, successful life. Because the way a lot of you girls work is you think, well, I'll get pregnant. I'll have a kid with this guy, then he'll stay with me. Then when he doesn't stay, it's like, I'm pregnant. I'm going to make him live up to his responsibilities. Then when he doesn't pay his child support, I'll go to family court. I'll make him live up to his responsibilities. Then you go to family court and you find out that he's only got to pay $200 a month. Now you're getting $2,400 a year. Now you're below the poverty line. Now you are screwed. You girls don't think about that before you get knocked up, do you? Because you're a bunch of illiterate dopes. And some who are more literate, but as we all know, ladies don't like numbers, don't like math, don't like statistics, don't believe what they read or hear because they don't read or hear very much outside of Entertainment Tonight or People magazine. Says here that marriage may not help unwed mothers economically, even when they do get married. Are you hearing this? All right, let's say a single mother tries to fix things by getting married. Things will get better now because we'll be with a guy who can then be the checkbook of the household. Well, listen to this. Their partners tend to lack education. Of course, what guy would be stupid enough to shack up with a chick with kids? Of course he lacks education. And, says Dr. Kwan, they are less likely to have opportunities for good-paying jobs. Probably because they have to spend half their time babysitting for somebody else's child, somebody else's problem, somebody else's mistake. Tends to hurt your opportunities for advancement when you have to run out to take Junior to the doctor or have a meeting with his teacher. Or go there when he has to have soccer practice, or whatever he has to do. He's got a runny nose, who knows? There's Miss Single Mother. She has to get to her job going boop, boop, boop all day at the 7-Eleven. So she leaves it in her capable new husband's hands. Yeah. So how much time does he have to go out plying his trade? So pretty much he has to work the other shift at 7-Eleven after she leaves. She does, 8 to 4, and he does 4 to midnight. That's the way that works. Have you ever met people like that? You bet you have. Maybe you are one of those people. By the way, how many people in the sample? What did they sample? 500 people, 1,000 people? And what can you draw from that? No. How large was the sample size? The study drew from data collected in the current population survey between 1980 and 1995, a sample including, get this, 102,722 women aged 18 to 34. Over 100,000 women in the sample. So this is not somebody's little opinion, or this is not some extrapolation from a very small sample. You know what extrapolation means? Tell your boyfriend to look it up for you. This is a very large sample. They don't sample that many people to get the Nielsen ratings on television, for Christ's sake. Something we all take as gospel. 102,000 women surveyed in the sample. So, again, let's review. You girls never think about this stuff before you spread your legs and say, hey, I forgot to use the pill, but what the hell? Don't use that slimy thing on me. Come on, I want to feel you. Here is what you're setting yourself up for, girls. 30% less likely to get married than a childless single woman. more likely to land husbands who are significantly older and less educated than those women who are single and without children. 5 times more likely to live in poverty than women who get married first and then have children. And if you do get married, all you single mothers out there, you have partners who have less education and less opportunities for good-paying jobs, so you're more likely to be in poverty for any number of reasons. Let's add some of the other facts that we've talked about on the air in the past. When you have children out of wedlock, they're more likely to become alcoholics, more likely to become drug addicts, more likely to become violent criminals, more likely to become teenage parents, more likely to smoke cigarettes. These are all documented. All of these things are more likely than women who have children in the context of a family with a man around who stays in the picture. One way to have a man stay in the picture is to marry him and stay married for 5 years before you press the print button on your little human Xerox machine there. Make sure you've got a relationship going first, rather than the tail wagging the dog with these women who have kids just to keep a guy around. Less and less guys are being tricked into that. More and more guys are saying, I'll just do whatever the court tells me to do, I'll just do it. See ya! But do you think these statistics will have any effect on single mothers? You know they won't.
Tom Leykis.
Come on.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Tom, can I say one thing?
What would that be?
I'm kind of buzzed, but I'm loving you.
Really?
Oh, my God.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. This is Susan on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom.
Yes.
What is up with you?
What do you mean?
Hello?
I'm here.
Are you just a moron, or do you really believe the things you're saying?
I believe every word I said.
Well, what makes you think that people want to listen to you spew this?
The ratings. The ratings, actually. I looked at the ratings, and we're doing very, very well in the ratings. So, clearly, I've got empirical evidence that people do want to hear what I have to say.
Well, I'm a little shocked.
Well, you're out of the demo, sweetheart. You're a 50-year-old female. At least that's what you say. And you are quite out of the demographic of this show.
So, in other words, I shouldn't be listening to you?
Oh, you're welcome to listen. But, dear, you clearly, the show is not aimed at you. So you may think I'm a moron. It's aimed at men between 18 and 44 years old. That's our audience.
And this is really what you want to tell them about single women and about women in general?
Yeah, because I'm reading statistics right here from from the Ohio State University.
And they actually have gone inside women's heads, and they understand what makes them work.
They don't have to. They've specifically stated all of the facts that I read here, that women who have children out of wedlock are 30% less likely to get married than childless single women, that they're more likely to marry men with less education, less earning potential. They're more likely, I mean, the list is long here.
Yeah, but you're not spewing just facts. You're obviously, clearly inserting your opinion.
Oh, there's no doubt I have opinions. Yes, I'm not this is not, who do you think I am, Brian Williams or something? I'm not a news person.
I don't know. Are you Rush Limbaugh? Because that's what it sounds like.
What does this have to do with Rush Limbaugh or anybody else? This is how men feel.
It has to do with men behaving badly.
How so? Give us some examples.
Because you're giving women qualifications that don't apply.
What are you talking about? Be specific.
You're generalizing.
Give us some specifics. I'm listening.
You're generalizing about women.
Where are the specifics?
The specifics are women who lay down and spread their legs,
right,
and pregnant on purpose, and don't.
I didn't use the words pregnant on purpose. Frankly, I don't think they're all on purpose. I think some of them just don't care. They don't bother to think about the ramifications of what they're doing.
Women
they don't care about the fact their children are 5 times more likely to grow up in poverty than women who have children in a marriage.
You know what? We live in America. Most of us live in poverty. Okay?
No, most of us do not live in poverty. That's factually incorrect.
Okay, actually, it's not factually incorrect.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. And not.
Yes, it is. This is not a third world country. This is not a third world country. You are just plain wrong.
No, it's a...
Clearly, you've never been to a poverty-stricken country.
Clearly, I am very well-traveled and actually have lived in other places besides the United States.
Really? Ever been to the Bahamas? Ever been to the Dominican Republic? You want to see poverty?
Been to Africa. Been to India.
Really? And you're telling me in Africa, they've got a better quality of life than the United States of America?
Excuse me.
Is that what you're telling us?
You're jumping off a cliff.
Is that what you're telling us?
No, I didn't compare the two.
Right. The fact is, most people in this country do not live in poverty. That is a fact.
The people in this country do live in poverty. Do you ever go to the gas station? Do you ever walk outside the market? Do you ever...
That does not mean that the majority of people who live in the United States are living in poverty.
Well, I'm sorry, but you're wrong.
No. Where are yours? I gave you where my statistics are coming from. Tell me where yours are coming from.
Just read in the newspaper.
No. Where, specifically?
I can't give you an exact...
No, you damn straight you can't. I gave you where my statistics are from.
You know what? You behave like a child.
Oh, you think so, do you?
Yeah.
Why? Because I demand logical answers to questions? Because I demand specifics instead of using words like moron? I demand statistics? And you can't provide any, and so you're like a little girl, you get all upset and start saying what a moron I am?
Don't use my words against me.
And why don't you give us the specific discussion of the demographics that you're talking about?
Why don't you give me specific...
I gave them to you.
...information...
I gave it to you. I gave you the information from a study from Ohio State University, a sample of 102,722 women, ages 18 to 34, between 1980 and 1995. Where are your numbers from?
Is this how you win arguments?
By the way, I want your specific references. I just gave you my footnotes. Where are yours?
A different question. I want to know...
No, answer mine first.
Hey, be quiet.
Don't you tell me how to do a show here.
I want to know...
You ignorant bitch. You know what? When you've got some facts or statistics, I'll listen to you. You haven't given me anything yet. Just your opinion and your big, fat, over-the-hill mouth.
You give me this.
You passed your expiration date 30 years ago.
Do you not want to hear the question?
I don't want to hear any question. I want the answer from you. I want to hear specific statistics from you.
Women are illiterate. Where are those...
Where are the statistics that most Americans are in poverty?
I'm asking you...
I asked you and you haven't answered it yet.
I told you.
You don't have any. Say, I don't have any evidence of that.
By reading the
I saw a poor person standing on a street. What day? What page? I want to see it. We've got a computer right here. I'll look it up right now. Tell me where in the New York Times you saw this information.
Why don't you look up poverty?
No. Why don't you tell me where and when you saw it?
Because I'm sitting...
Because you never saw it. You're making it up.
Because I don't have 6 production assistants.
I don't have... This is me doing this.
Oh, boy.
As a matter of fact, this story was sent to me by a listener. I simply pressed the print button and printed it out and read it.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I do believe that Ohio State University is a credible and respected university. Yes. This didn't come from the Columbia School of Broadcasting. It came from a respected university.
Your statistics
I gave them to you.
About female illiteracy. No, you...
I never claimed to have statistics on that.
Oh, you just said it.
No, that's my opinion.
You any better?
That is my opinion, but at least I, unlike you, labeled it my opinion. You claimed that your ranting and raving was fact, and I clearly elucidated which things I said were documented, which things were opinions. You don't make any distinction.
Listen back to it.
No,
you didn't.
No.
It's real easy to talk.
Well, again, I'll tell you what, I'm paid to do it. And by the way, this is my show, and you will not tell me how to do it. You don't know a thing about doing a radio show. If you did, you'd be down here making a 7-figure income like I do, instead of calling in and making me rich.
You have no idea.
No idea of what?
What I have knowledge about.
Yes, I do. Frankly, you have very little knowledge and just a big mouth.
No, I would say that's probably you.
Oh, you would. Hang on a second. Yeah. Andy, what did you want to say to Susan?
Hey, Susan.
Yeah?
You got a knobs on your radio? Why don't you shut it off?
I did.
You have a choice. You don't have to listen.
Why am I not allowed?
Why waste his airtime for you to just come on and bitch about stupid...
I didn't tell him to... No, excuse me. I'm responding to his statements. I didn't say get off the air, I don't want to hear you.
No, I know.
Could turn it
Why
off
don't
if I
you
wanted
turn your radio off and listen to something else?
Well, your point is useless and stupid. I didn't tell him to get off the radio.
See, she's great at name-calling, but very little in the area of facts or statistics.
Well, you would know, wouldn't you?
You have no idea what you're talking about. You have no proof. There's no. It's just why waste airtime? Why waste airtime?
Well, why are you listening? Why are you bothering to call and talk to me?
Because he is right. You have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
How do you know that?
Because I think the same
like
way.
A
That's
newspaper
why.
reader. What?
He's the reason why he has listeners is because we all agree on it.
Oh, so in other words, he just caters to an audience that agrees with everything he says. I think that, as Tom put it so succinctly, he is looking for an argument to further his ratings, and I am helping
Actually,
him
I
do that.
never said any such thing. Everything I do, including talking to wrinkled old bitches like yourself, is to get ratings. Everything I do, every syllable that comes out of my mouth is to get ratings.
That's exactly right.
To bait old bags and all blue hair. Oh, I am absolutely grateful that you called, because what I love is I bait old bags, old blue hairs like yourself to call in here. I reel you in, then get you on the air, get you all riled up, and then here you make a fool of yourself by putting your foot in your mouth 17 times. Then I let the guys who agree with me call in and beat the crap out of you. That's pretty much how it's done.
Lucky for me, I'm smart enough to know that nobody's beating the crap out of me.
If you were that smart, you wouldn't be here now.
And in fact, you didn't prove your point. And that's
I proved my point before you ever called in.
No, you haven't proved
And Andy
anything.
agrees.
You know what?
I'm sure wrinkled old broads like yourself with no eggs left to drop, I'm sure you disagree with me. I'm sure of that.
Really sad. Oh, and who's
the fact that you don't have to go to the store and buy any tampons anymore, I'm sure that makes you a little cranky. Do you have a menopausal mustache yet, by the way?
Do you even have a college degree? Do you have any basis or foundation?
I'm a professor of poon.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
I'm a master debater and a cunning linguist. And I'm an amateur gynecologist.
Because this is the first time I've ever heard you, is that you probably are a very smart man and don't believe a word
I am.
saying.
That's how I get people like you to call in and stay on the air for 10 minutes.
I feel really sorry for the guys who listen to you and believe
Andy, she feels sorry for you.
Yeah. You don't need to feel sorry for me. I'm fabulous.
You wish.
I'm smart. I'm happy. I'm beautiful. I'm fabulous.
Dried up like a prune.
I know you'd like to believe that.
Yes.
So go ahead and do that.
More crow's feet.
I believe it, Tom. That's all we need to worry about.
I'll leave you.
Don't leave us yet. No, don't leave us yet, because I got Gary here. Gary, what do you want to say to Susan?
Gotta go.
If I had my job I did in 8th grade, I would be a multi-millionaire right now. I'm a mortgage broker. This lady has no idea what she's talking about. I get dumb bitches like her out of debt all day long. It's the lady's fault why there's so much debt in America. They want to go shopping and go dining and do all this dumb stuff.
By the way, she couldn't handle it anymore. She hung up on you in the middle.
She hung up on me, Tom?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, she's still listening, though. You can tell her.
God, Tom, she has no idea. She has no idea. She's got to be... Talking about education, who needs education to make money?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm self-employed. This lady has no idea what's going on in this market at all. Talking about grads from college. What big whoopee do, you know? I would have dropped out of school in kindergarten if I known I could make the money I do in mortgage, man. Just doesn't make sense.
Well, you're right about that, Gary. Thank you for the call. Speaking of Gary's, Gary Zabransky just walked in, part of my huge production staff here. Came in, and by the way, where are my statistics coming from? Now let's try the U.S. Census Bureau. Paid for with your taxpayer money. This from the Housing and Household Economic Statistics Division of the U.S. Census Bureau. Here are the 2004 numbers on poverty. Susan said that the majority of Americans are living in poverty. Well, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, the official poverty rate in the United States last year was 12.7%, up from 12.5% the year before. That would hardly qualify as a majority. That means, according to the United States government, 87.3% of Americans are not living in poverty. 87.3%. In 2004, 37 million people were in poverty, up 1.1 million from 2003. That simple. So, again, she calls up here, has no facts, no statistics, nothing to back her up. And just has a big, fat mouth. and a dried-up, dusty old you-know-what.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-866. Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.